friends. But when we were 18, this was like 6 years later, we were 18, and this was right when I came. I went to U of H for like a year and a half, came back to San Antonio, and worked at a mutual fund company for a few months. And she's working at the same place. And by this time, she has a daughter, and she's living on her own and trying to make things work. And that's fine. Everybody has a different story. But she says, Emily, do you remember when we had that conversation? I said, yeah, I do. She said, imagine if I would have done what you did. Imagine where my life would be now. Imagine. And so people, they may not have the same desire and discipline that you will to be better. It's okay. But don't be the person to say, man, I wish I would have. And 5 years have gone by. 10 years have gone by. You know how many people listen to me now when they walk in my house and see that it's debt free? A lot. You know how many people I talked to about my house before my house was built? And now this is a custom home, which means every trade I picked. My house is brand new, been in it a year and a half roughly. Custom. Debt free. People listen now. I wish they would have listened then. But it's okay. We learn when we learn. But I'd rather you guys learn now. And then 10 years from now say, hey, Miss Emily, I remember you came to my class, and now I've got like 5 homes. Huh. Exactly. Exactly.
10 cars.
That's right. Now that sounds like a lot, but do you guys know how many people in the construction industry have more than one house? Very common. Very common. Do you know how many quiet millionaires there are when it comes to the construction industry?
A lot.
A lot. A lot. And so I'm saying that to say there's a whole lot more industries available to you guys to take advantage of. And you don't have to just do what you feel like you see. There's so much more available. I did not think of the cleaning industry. Now, if somebody would have came in and said the cleaning industry when I was 12, I would have been like, I'm good. That's not gonna work. That's not cool. Because they probably wouldn't have been able to tell me what I'm telling you, right? Santikos Theaters, they just remodeled 5 of their auditoriums about a week and a half ago, right before Thanksgiving came in. We were the ones who did the cleaning. And they have the first self-serve popcorn, which I think is really cool. There. And
Self-serve popcorn?
Self-serve popcorn.
Theaters is?
This is off 410 and I-10 Access Road. And so it used to be the theater that was like no man's land. Nobody went.
Yeah,
it
it's a
wasn't
ghetto
even
theater.
cool.
Ghetto theater.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Fiesta or whatever.
It's open. Well, it's like literally off the access road before.
It's the one with the neon lights, right? Like it's like blue neon lights.
Exactly. Northwest?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but I know what it is.
Yeah, and so that one was the one where I would just drive by and I thought that it was literally like done. I thought they were selling the building, bless you. Mm-hmm. And then they call and they say, hey, Emily, you know, and another thing, let me not skip this, integrity, character, goes a long way. Being honest, not lying, not stealing, it goes a long way. Because if I didn't have character, people wouldn't refer me. 90%, 95% of my company is referral. I did not have to call Santikos and ask them to bid the project, they called me. Actually, the representative for Santikos called me and said, hey, we just referred you to this construction company. We don't know if they're going to call you, but we're letting you know. 5 minutes later, they called me. The 20 McDonald's that I just told you, that's a repeat client from 2 years ago. We never have to go back and try to show them that we can do a good job. We never have to go back and show them that we're going to do the right thing. They trust us now. Trust us enough to call us and say, hey, this McDonald's, Calabria, we need you Friday. We send in the invoice, they pay me, we send the workers, call it a day. But if I didn't have integrity, if I didn't know how to treat people right, if I was rude to people, you think they will call me? No. Do you think my workers will work for me?
No.
Definitely not. If I didn't have discipline financially, I couldn't pay my workers weekly. I literally pay out in minimum over $10,000 a month when it comes to my labor. If I did not know how to have financial discipline and learn it while I was in school, learn it at home. Now, school's going to teach you so much, but I still had to discipline myself when I got home. I had to. It was a necessity. Because I had to find out how much am I actually making. And how much you're actually making means. And now, do you guys have, Celeste, do you guys have a financial class? Not yet?
This is as close as they'll get.
This is the closest they'll get?
High school.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll have 1 week of finance
Okay.
in this class, but we haven't done it yet.
High school, they're doing it in high school.
Yeah. I think they do it in math, too.
Yeah.
They go
Oh.
through math a little bit.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
it's basically how much you make, right? Or how much you think you make, total. Subtract all your expenses. And then whatever that end all is, that's how much you make. So everybody says, oh, I make like $3,000 a month. No, you don't. So they literally spend money like they make $3,000 a month. Then they have debt. And they try to figure out where the debt comes from. The debt comes from you spending money you didn't have. So once you learn discipline in those areas, then you can say, oh, I have a car debt free. There are people who make money like me and they don't look like it because they don't know how to handle their finances. And they get a business, they get customers, and they do what they want to do, and they push, but yet it goes belly up because they did not have people or owners who knew what they were doing financially. And it bothers me every time I see it. So I don't want you guys to say, hey Miss, you know, I decided to own an electrical company. And then you get $5,000 and it's like, man, we're winning. And you pay your workers, pay for the supplies, and then you just hand all the money to the family, but yet you don't know exactly what to do with the finances for the business. It will not succeed that way. You have to make sure you put money to the side. You have to make sure you have money allotted for everything you want. I know how much money I'm spending for Christmas presents. Because everybody's going to say they want something, and then I'm going to just emotionally buy them things, and then get depressed when it's over because I spent too much money. Now I'm like, man, I hate Christmas. I don't hate Christmas. I hate the fact that I didn't have financial discipline. Makes sense? So I know I'm saying a lot, and I'm treating you guys like you're about to graduate tomorrow, but I don't know if you guys are going to have the next idea that's going to be $1 million idea. I don't know if you guys have those ideas in your head. And there's no telling. You probably do. But you may not have told anybody before. You may not have actually taken your own self serious enough to do those things. My nephew, he's 9. He owns a business. Yeah. Because we take it serious. There's a kid in Black Friday, 18 years old. She sold makeup, Celeste. You know how much money she made in 90 minutes? $1 million. 90 minutes. 18.
She told me in an hour and a half. She made $1 million.
There's a kid. He's in college. It's my friend's cousin, so that's how I know a little bit more personally about him. He's in college, and he's looking at our shoestrings, and he's like, man, there's no way in the world that all the shoestrings that have ever come out, period, in life, are all the same fabric. There's got to be like a leather shoestring or something else. He comes up with the leather shoestring. He was just on the Today Show last week. Something that simple. And when you see it, you're like, man, why didn't I think about that? Yeah. And so, don't take yourself to where it's not that. Somebody else may downplay you. Somebody else may not treat you like, you know, your thoughts or what you're saying is valuable, but you are. You're valuable.
Wait, what kind of business does your nephew own? A 9-year-old one?
Oh, he owns, it's called The Art Stand. So he teaches art classes once a month to students his age.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does he like to play Fortnite?
Okay.
Probably.
What's
Probably has
Fortnite?
like a lot of marijuana.
What's Fortnite?
It's a game where
You
free download.
get to explain.
Oh, you're saying to teach painting? Is that what you're saying Fortnite does? It teaches painting or something?
No.
What does it do?
It's just like a game like that's popular and
A popular game.
Oh, he does
Overrated
Beyblades.
popular
You guys know what that is?
What?
Beyblades?
I remember.
You know
Little,
what those are?
remember, he's younger than
He's
you.
9,
Yeah,
guys.
he's younger. He's
He's
like 3 or 4
9.
years younger than me. So majority of his the people are his age. So Beyblades is like what he plays with in games like that, or robots and things like that. Y'all play with robots? No.
Used
Used to? Oh, okay.
I remember.
Huh? Well, there's actually classes every year during the summer where they take people who are like into engineering and things like that. Yeah, and they, they play with robots and teach them coding and things like that.
Yeah.
Am I right? Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So I thought that was kind of like still I don't know how long they do it or what ages, but I thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, before I keep moving, do you guys have any questions about anything yet? No? 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 Okay. So, now guys, I also teach my parents how to do better at financing. I teach my family a lot of things about business. So if your parents and if your world is not there equipped to teach you properly what you really want to learn, be okay to pull on outside sources. Don't get frustrated with the people around you to where it's like, man, they don't know what they're doing, they don't know this or this, that, and the other, to where you still don't educate yourself in what you know you need. Does that make sense? No? What? It doesn't? Okay, so if he doesn't know the answer to a question, right? If he doesn't know the answer to the question, it doesn't mean the answer's not there. It just means he's not the person to go to. So if you ask your parents a question about business, or if you ask them, or you tell them an idea and they don't like it, it doesn't mean that it's not a good idea. It doesn't mean that the answer's not there. It doesn't mean that your question is stupid, or it doesn't mean that you're dumb. It just means that they were not the right person to talk to. And it doesn't make it less than for your parents. It just means that you're pushing them to somewhere they haven't been pushed before. And that's okay. That's everybody in life. Somebody may ask me something about hair, and I've never used the product. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, try it, it'll work. No, I'm going to say, I don't know, I've never tried it before. Why would I lie? You see what I'm saying? If somebody says, oh, I would love to be a nail tech, and I would love to own a company and doing nails. If she asks your teacher, I guarantee you he may not know that much details about a nail business. Maybe. But somebody will.
Well, you might. I don't know.
Yeah, or he can pull it up, or he can direct you to someone who can. A lot of times when people don't know the answer, they get insulted or they feel like you're trying to insult them, right? It depends on who you're talking to. It doesn't mean that you're wrong for asking. It just means that they didn't know the answer. Does that make sense now? Okay. So I'm basically saying be inquisitive. Ask questions. Find out what you really want to do. If what you guys told me you want to do is what you want to do, then make sure you are pushing in that direction to get it done. There's so many kids who graduate now at 15 and 16, it's like norm. It's like commonplace.
Another language.
Huh? Okay. There's so many kids who start businesses at your age, it's norm. And they make money and they're just flourishing. So don't put yourself in a box to where you say, I can't do it. If somebody would have told me about the industry when I was your age, I guarantee you I would have tapped into it earlier. Or I wouldn't have even gone to U of H, I wouldn't have even tried different things, but I did. And I'm very grateful, the grace of God, that I'm where I'm at now. There's somebody who's 20 who probably started a IT company, and they're killing it. They're out there making millions of dollars. So I want you guys to strive for more, discipline yourself now. And don't feel like the things that people are asking you to do is dumb. It makes no sense. I don't want to study. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to do my homework. I don't want to take out the trash. I don't want to listen to my parents. Those habits are the habits of people that I hire and probably in months fire. Because they can't follow instructions. They can't listen. They're not respectful. And so when I leave the job site, if my team leader calls and says, hey, Miss Emily, that guy's not doing what you asked him to do, then they get upset. Nobody gives me a chance. Nobody cares. Well, you had the chance. You just didn't take it. There's a young man I hired this summer. And going through a lot. He had a son, girlfriend, living with the mother of the child. Well, actually, him, the baby, and the baby's mother were all living with her mom, so it wasn't her place. And he was like, you know, I got to do better. I've got to get more money and all this other stuff. And I get it. You know, he's 18, young kid. And every time he gets on site, I would tell him something, and he would do it. But then somebody else may say something to him, and he would just go off. And I was like, what in the world? So I pulled him to the side and said, hey, okay, I'm not sure what's happened. I'm not sure your day-to-day. But everybody on site isn't against you. They're just talking to you. They're not talking at you. You know, one young man had said, hey, you know, I left my tool over here. Do you know what happened to it? General question. He goes, oh, I didn't steal it, da-da-da-da. So now he's having, like, now what his lack of trust, his, you know, everything that he's come from has now built up this defense to where now everybody's against him. Now he wants to fight everybody. And if you build up that mentality, then regardless of how much good comes to you, you will always fight against it. Make sense? Yes? And you don't want to do that. You don't want to feel like everybody's against you or nothing's working for you or this is horrible. Because if you have that mindset, everything negative will be negative. Everything for him is negative. And I'm like, hey, you're saying you want a job. You are right here in front of a job. Don't mess it up. Yes, ma'am, thank you for the opportunity. Very emotional, you know. Someone in his family had passed, and when he told me about it, he was defensive about it. Well, I gotta go and see them before they pass, you know, see them one last time. I'm like, okay, why do you have to say it like somebody's coming after you? How you approach things, how you address people, the respect you give people, and generally is how people are going to respond to you. If an adult asks you something and you're disrespectful,